All right, Rio here, and I'm in my home today recording our last lecture of the semester. So before I jump in and start talking about the three parts of what you need to do for this classwork, I just want to personally, turn to the camera and thank each of you for being a part of this class. I really value your input and I value your time, and I really attempt to make a course that you spend most of your time learning and not most of your time trying to figure out how I want you to do something. So I hope in that sense we were successful. Without you, I don't have a job, and I really, really enjoy this job. I feel really blessed to have it. I try to, as I said before, honor it in every way that I can. And so I really appreciate your time and your attention and, just your energy. There's what's cool about teaching is that you really see people's energy, and what I really feel is the amount of drive that you all have. And thank you for that, because I think that's counter to sometimes the narrative I hear people talking about when they talk about students, because that's what I hear them say is not what I experience. So I just want to say thank you, right? So thank you for being here, choosing City, choosing this course, and hopefully you walk away with some new skills, some new knowledge. If you came in knowing a lot, maybe you were surprised. If you came in knowing a little, hopefully you learned a lot. But I'm actually going to give you in this week's classwork an opportunity to give me feedback. And I'm not grading you on if the feedback is good or bad. Honestly, I just would never do that. I really use this feedback to, when I work on next semester, is to figure out what I want to do differently. How could I make the user experience better? So what I really look for just is your feedback. Okay, so given that this is week 17, I'm going to go over the dates. I know we've been talking about it, but I got to do that just because now that we're at the end, this is now real, right? This is it. This is the last classwork you're going to have, and this is the week 17 classwork. So all you have left is what's heading in the finals week. So sounds like we're ready to turn to and get started looking at the three parts of what you're going to need for this classwork. Okay, so this first part is me, right? So in your classwork document, right? The heading should be class topics. And what I want to do is what I've done before. So it is a repeat, but it's worth it. And I'm going to actually turn to my personal calendar here to do this. But moving forward into week 18, right? So this is your week that you're in doing this work is on the 6th, but we're looking forward into the final week, week 18, right? So by now, so in your notes, the final is due, right? Midnight on the 12th. But really, some of you may say when Rio gets up on the 13th, and that'd be okay too. But do know that I will be grading throughout the day, really every day, as I always do, but definitely making sure that as you're submitting that work, and most definitely the latest I can stay up on Wednesday. So do know that when I wake up, there should be very little I have to grade to finish it up. And then at that point, we're on review day, the 13th. So there's no work. So first, there needs to be a bullet point of concept. The final is due on the 12th. And also, this is the last time you can ask me to late grade or apply late points returned to any of your items. This is absolutely the last time you can do that. Okay, and then review day is the 13th, and then I post grades on the 14th in the morning. And of course, at that point, anytime, and really you should have asked me on the 13th, but that is at that point, we're officially over, right, at that point. So if you're looking for me, this is the next thing about the schedule for the last week of the semester. If you're looking for me, and these hours are actually on the syllabus for our course on the link to my calendar. So I will be on campus Monday in my office from noon to 1. On Tuesday I will be in from 1 to 2. And then the final day I'll be in lab in BE123 if you want to come by there and ask me any questions. Will be 2 to 3:30. That will be the last time I'm in the lab, okay? And then Wednesday I'll be on campus in my office hours 12 to 1, 12 to 12:50. Really these are 12 to 12:50. That's really what that is. And then Thursday I'll be in my office from 1 to 1:50. And then Friday is a virtual office hour. I may not be on campus that Friday depending on if I have meetings or not. Okay, so I just want you to know the schedule for that last week. So if you're looking for me in a lab, the last time I will be there is Tuesday the 11th. I do want you to put in the notes my office hours for that week so that you know where to find me if you need to. But as normal, you can always reach out to me on Canvas as well. Okay? So that should cover part of this. We're not quite done yet because I am going to, as I promised in week 16, one more time, talk about the final, right? So it's in here under exams, under the final, and it's going to look different. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to look different than the chapter quizzes. And at first looking at this, you may wonder, why can't I turn in the final in Canvas? Well, you can, but only as you've done every other My IT Lab assignment, which is you take the work, you complete the work. The work's just going to look a little different, which, by the way, it's going to look much bigger here, right? So this is the final itself. So these are multiple choice or true, false. You can save it for later. You can see there's 150 questions. You can bounce around. So if I wanted to go to question 13, I could, right? And you could, so you can save for later, but you probably only want to do this once. There should be no questions if you've done the chapter quizzes you haven't seen a couple times, okay? So now this is not what you would do, but I'm going to simulate the idea of what would happen once you're all through, right? I got all 50 answered. Then you would submit for grading. And of course it's going to tell me you are crazy for doing this, but I'm just showing you for purposes of seeing what it looks like, right? So of course then I got 0, right? So what you could do here, and you could either maybe view the summary, and you could take a print screen. That'd be totally fine. You could take a print screen of that. Now this is going to have your score, right? Not this score, because none of you, well, I couldn't say that, but I'm guessing you wouldn't. The other way you could do this is you could return to the course, and as we've done before, hit View Submissions, right? And under Submissions, like we've done before, and this is what you're more used to, right, is hit that print and then print to PDF, right? And then upload that, or upload your print screen into the Shared with Rio, and then give me a link in here. Okay, so again, I'm just telling you, take the quiz. So in your notes, take the quiz in My IT Lab, create the PDF or the print screen, whichever you feel like you want to do. Upload it to the Shared with Rio. Yes, I do want to see the notes on this, so you have it. And then provide me a link right here on the final. So again, don't go here and thinking you're taking the final here. Right, so I'm seeing this as an instructor, but you're going to give me a URL. Okay, this is where this is nothing different than you have done before. Okay, so this is nothing new here as far as the My IT Lab goes. This is just a different place to find it. Okay. All right, so hopefully that's clear to you now. Hopefully, and some of you are like, Rio, I've so heard this. I get it. But, and again, you know, it's on me too, because I know I had said it in the writing in previous semesters, make sure you use the current date, and some of you were not. So I don't want there to be any confusion. Okay? Okay, so I believe that's it. I've gone over, right, the final. I've gone over how it ends. Oh, so I will talk about this though. When you have completed all the work, and this again is a repeat, when all the items have been completed and whatever your grade is, that is your grade in this course, right? So that's how you know what your grade is. And that's the nice thing about doing things early, is you'll know exactly where you end up in this course, is by completing everything. And if you are at that week 17 or the finals week, right? So if you're at the finals week and you took the final and you're like, oh wow, my score is XYZ, but you forgot that there were some other items in there, right? And what I'm going to do is on Thursday, I'm going to put a 0 on anything at that point that hasn't been complete. Now, I probably have already got this in here, right? But I just want to be clear about this. So I'm actually going to do something that, again, I'm going to move to, this is nothing you do, but I'm just showing you from the student perspective, right? So from your view, when you go into grades, you can look at all your grades for all the items. Now you're going to have grades on these things, right? So, and this is where if you were asking the question, do I have to take the final? You know, the answer can be, you can come to the answer all on your own, right? You might start with the, what if I don't complete the final? Put a 0 in there, and then see how that affects your grade, right? See what that, now right now this is a bad example because this is just a student view and no work has been done, but it actually does show you, right? At this point. And actually what I want you to do, and now that I'm going to add one more thing to your notes here, is I actually want you to, if it isn't already at this point, fill out what you feel like you're going to get either on late work. So let's say you had some 75s in here and you planned on doing some late work, right? I want you to go through and set your My Grade up to be what you plan on getting in this course, right? So in that case, right, you would take those, if you're going to do some late work, you would take those lower scores and you're like, you know what, I know I can get 100 on that. So what I want you to do is fill all that out, you know, again, for anything that you plan on making up. That's interesting, great. I have to look at why that, oh, because that item probably wasn't worth 75 points. Here's my guess, that was a quiz. Ah, it was, that's why. Max I could get on that would be 30 points. Okay. Which, by the way, the one thing I will say as well is on the quiz question, on the chapter quizzes that are in my IT lab, you can retake these without late point penalties. Okay. So I haven't said that I think yet, but everything else you do get discounted if you've submitted late, which is at this point you already know that. And it would just be saying if you ended up getting 75 on something or less because you submitted it late, then you can go through my late points returned to get 100, right? And if you're wondering at this point, how does that work, right? Let's complete this discussion and then we'll talk about that. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a print screen here once you have that figured out, right? And this would show me the grade that you anticipate getting in my class. And it really is basically, at this point, mostly about the final, unless you have some late work you're going to make up. Okay? So just take a print screen and then you can just link it into your Classwork doc, okay, for that. So that will be one thing I'll add to our week 17. Let me go ahead and leave the student view for a second, but I want you to remember how to do that what if. I want you to also go through and fill out, right? So I'll just do it with you here. So the other thing besides the dates, right, that I also want, so I want all the dates I've discussed about end of semester and a print screen of what you think your final grade will be. Okay? So you can either embed it in your Google Doc or not. Okay, so that's one thing I've added as we're going through this. So the next two are I think, should be kind of fun. This one, yeah, it depends on you. But this one should be. I'm going to have you do something, which is I want you to choose something. Now, I am going to be specific on how you choose it or what you choose it. Here's what this means. Like, I want you to select the topic that you were introduced to in this course and find 30 minutes of content related to that. It should be, say, in video format. And in this part of your work, give me a link to the video you selected. What was the topic that you were introduced to in this course? And where did you get this topic? Was it a quiz? Was it a My IT lab? Was it a classwork? Was it a hands-on? And include the week, okay? Because I want you to think of something specifically that you were introduced to and that you want to know more about. Okay, so tell me give me a link to the video. Tell me where in this course was this topic introduced. Okay, and then take notes on that video, right? So I'm doing a little self-selection, but I also do this to kind of see what are you all interested in. Now this obviously needs to be related to the course in some way, because it's going to come, and there was a lot of things covered in the quizzes, and this might be a great opportunity to go back and look at some of your quizzes in preparation for the final. This might have been something in my IT lab that you were like, oh, you know what, I really like Access. I found out from doing the first exam, So, and then you would go find 30 minutes of content, and trust me, you can do this about Access, and probably YouTube you'd go. But if there's another video service, you can use that as well. Or something in Classwork that we talked about. You know, maybe some of the programming stuff, or that could be the hands-on stuff, right? So again, choose a topic. Give me a link to the topic, the video that you selected. Tell me where in the course. These probably should be reversed. I'll probably reverse them by the time you see this, right? And then take notes on it. Okay, so that's, again, I want these, by the way, in your classwork. I want these to actually have a heading format. Okay, so class topics, heading format. Your choice, and I say kind of here because I am limiting it. It's not completely your choice. You have to limit it to our course. And then take notes on the content you find. Okay, so then the last heading is really your course feedback. And I kind of foreshadowed this earlier, but I want you to give me feedback, right, on this course. Good, bad, whatever. You know, was there something that you felt really worked well? Was there something you wish I would have done differently? Just in general, is there something you would like me to know? Because remember, you know, and this is where I'll move back to here. Remember, you are an important part of this course, and your feedback is way important to me. And I appreciate you taking some time to reflect upon the course and give me that valuable feedback that I will consider when I look at my next semester. Alrighty, so that is it. That wraps up the last video for this course. Again, I'm teaching online web technologies. I'm teaching a more advanced course in programming on campus. It's really meant to where if you've had some JavaScript, but if you're interested in that class, come talk to me. It's on Wednesday nights, so if you're interested in that, let me know. And even if you're not in a future class of mine, it's always fun for me to have you stop by and say hi. So, you know, I'm on campus. If those of you that have been by my office, BE113. So my office faces the social science, and I always enjoy saying hi to students that were taking my online classes, because of course I get to know the students in my face-to-face class, which is always fun. I always enjoy that. But I always like providing and doing these classes that give the student more flexibility in the way that they consume the content, because I think that's where we're heading, and it just gives you a lot of flexibility. But I also enjoy the relationship, so, you know, I get the best of both worlds. All right, have a great winter break. Hopefully you've already scheduled yourself for next semester. And enjoy the holidays. Enjoy your family. Take some time out to reflect upon where you're going and what you want out of life. It's an important time. Peace.